With that, let's welcome in our panelists to get their take. Thomas Savidge joins us, research fellow with the American Institute for Economic Research, and Tim Phillips is here, Director of Government Affairs at Global Strategies at DeskPoint. Welcome to you both. All right, Thomas, to start us off, numbers, again, higher than expected. What does that tell you for consumers?
Well, the producer price index is an important inflation index because it's, when you think about it as the prices the store sees when they're buying from their suppliers. And so one thing that's concerning there is that the price of both goods and services are going up. The materials that are going into the things that stores produce for consumers. And we're starting to see that from the rise in tariffs and from the threat of tariffs raising the costs of goods and services that could potentially be impacted. So one thing that is concerning is that this could filter through over to the consumer, but even if businesses decide to eat the cost, that cost will get passed on to consumers, because even if it doesn't show up on a price tag, it might show up in the form of shorter business hours, smaller inventories, reductions in staff rates, a reduction in staff hours, so the stores are short-staffed, especially during busier times and days. That is something to be concerned about. It could be one of those early warning signs of rising consumer prices, but the jury is still out there. It's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Tim, let's just stay on that topic there, consumers in mind alone. The consumer price came out, the consumer numbers, inflation numbers came out. They weren't as hot as expected. The wholesale number came out. That was hotter than expected. Which one are you encouraged by? How does that play into American households today and moving forward?
The consumer price index coming out and beating expectations. It was at 2.7% annual. That was a good sign. Yeah. It was reassuring, certainly for the markets. Also, a really interesting point in these numbers. One of the staples, obviously food and energy, but within food, canned vegetables, canned meats. There was a close watching on that number. Was that spiked because so much of that comes from international trade? That number did not go up. It was flat. So that is a kind of looking under the hood number that was really encouraging. Given the consumer price index numbers especially, you would think at this point the Fed finally would say it's safe enough to cut rates. They've had the same rate in place since December of 2024. And these numbers, they deserve a Fed that will actually take a proper step and cut these rates.
You know, that's something President Trump wants to see happen.
Yeah. Well, he's right on this one. He really is.
Yeah. Well, markets are up this morning, up about 200 points. So the day's just starting out. We'll see where it ends up later this afternoon. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Thomas Savidge and Tim Phillips. We appreciate it.
You bet.
Thanks.
Thank you.